Maharaj was taking the actual day of Vyasa Puja as it was being celebrated in the US. So my humble request to everyone is to please take this opportunity today on a very auspicious occasion of remembering Maharaj to please come, sit down, and very carefully hear his Vyasa Puja lecture. The Vyasa Puja lecture of a spiritual master on the day of his Vyasa Puja is considered a key point in our tradition. And Vyasa Puja itself is considered one of the most important festivals that we attend. So if you're here, then we're very grateful that you're here, because the blessings of the spiritual master is the only way by which we can advance. It is our tradition that no matter who and which spiritual master it is in ISKCON, we all come together and we glorify him and we all eagerly hear him. And for disciples of the spiritual master, it becomes a great source of encouragement when they see so many members of a devotional community coming together unitedly, wanting to hear from their spiritual master. So today we can all sit here and we can hear Maharaj. The program will be very straightforward. For about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, Maharaj will take the class. After he finishes the class, we will have some offerings from the disciples of Maharaj and other devotees who may have been inspired by Maharaj. Please feel free to speak up. And then after that, we will have two bhajans in glorification of Maharaj. And after that, we should be ready for Pushpanjali. And after Pushpanjali, we have the final Arti and the midday Arti. And then we invite all devotees for a feast. Today is Ekadeshi, very auspicious day also. So I'm glad that all of you are here. And I'm sure many more devotees will come. It's just that they are either stuck or delayed by the rain. But it's good you're here before the rain, or even within the time of the rain. So, Atul Prabhu, we are ready to start? Okay, let's all sit here so we can all hear from Maharaj. And we also welcome devotees who are on Zoom, I think. Parmanand Prabhu, Ankita Gamana Mataji, the other devotees, I think Ria is also online. So we welcome all disciples of Maharaj who are not in Singapore. We're missing you here, but we are happy that you are joining us. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Romapada Maharaj ki. Let's hear.
Made all over the world from this same artist and now. And this weekend's event is dedicated to him, to our founder Acharya. And I identified the topic I'd like to speak out, furthering the legacy of our founder Acharya. Now, usually we use the word mission. For some reason, I like the word legacy. In case you want to know what legacy means, it can mean different things. Sometimes it means property, like money and buildings and passing it on to the next generation. That's the legacy of the person or persons that gathered. But it also means what we're doing, the forefathers, and they're, in our case, because some of us here are Prabhupada disciples, most of you are disciples of Prabhupada disciples, so grand disciples. And that's, because we have inherited something very valuable. I mean, you could list many valuable things. ISKCON itself, Prabhupada's transcendental writings, the mood, the purity, the gifts of the holy name, and so on. So carrying and furthering the legacy of our founder Acharya. There's a nice saying, someone sent this to me. A filial person is one who inherits the will of the ancestors and spreads their activities and contributions. Take your pick. There's this screen, there's that screen, there's that screen. We don't have one on the ceiling yet, but you can look in any direction you like. Thank you very much. That was a Jai, I guess. Yeah, Jai. Uh-oh. Now, where does this quote come from? And is Nandimukhi here? Not yet. It's from the grandson of Confucius. So you're like the grandchildren of Srila Prabhupada, most of those of you here, the disciples of the disciples. So here's the fellow, the grandson, and here's what he wrote, what's up top in Chinese. And he is the only grandson of Confucius, and he dedicated himself to take the teachings of Confucius and further them, repeat them, spread them, develop them, spread the activities and contributions of their ancestors. That's a filial person. That's supposed to be all of you. Some of you may know that before Srila Prabhupada met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was an ardent, not casual, but ardent follower of Mahatma Gandhi. And that was part of the discussion during their first meeting. And Bhaktisiddhanta managed to, Prabhupada said, when I was growing up, I would always win arguments. He's good at, not like arguing, but discussing and prevailing in discussions. It would always prevail. The first time he was defeated was Bhaktisiddhanta, and he was happy to be defeated. Don't wait. Spiritual teachings are not dependent upon material circumstances. Now, there's no need to wait until India gets independence. The message, truth is truth. Present the truth, and it will ring. So because of his being such a strong follower of Mahatma Gandhi, during the Gandhi Memorial, he was asked to be a speaker, if not the keynote speaker, and he wrote a paper. And one of the main messages in the paper was, the way to honor a great person is not build a statue, name a building after them, name a street after them, name a bridge after them. Those things are done. But the way to honor a great person, that's what we're focusing on. Carry forward the legacy of that great person. What Prabhupada said is, create a community where the values that that person held and upheld will be manifest in this world so people can see it works. These are values that are viable and powerful, and they work. So here we are with devotees from different communities all over the place. And we're here to honor this great personality. Now, there are different ways to describe which he valued so much, and to build communities that are resonating and manifesting those values. The 7 principles of ISKCON is one place to look. We'll spend a little bit of time this evening looking at 2 of them. Another is this phrase that many of us have heard: books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, utility is the principle. If you haven't heard it, it's a good time to hear it, even for the first time. Books are the basis. In the 7 purposes of ISKCON, that was number 7, for the aforementioned printing and distributing books. Purity of the force isn't specifically mentioned in those terms, but it's establishing communities, we'll see shortly. Preaching is the essence, propagating and propagating is words that he used in the first two of the 7 purposes. And utility is the principle. Utility is the principle is a paraphrase of Rupa Goswami's teachings of renunciation. True renunciation is that which is in relation to Hari. You engage that which is in relation to Hari in the service of Hari. Yukta Vairagya Uchate. Hari Sambandha Vastuna. Things that are in relation to Hari should be used in the service to Hari. Utility is the principle. Some time ago, I was in a different city than Naperville, somewhere, and a Prabhupada disciple was speaking to me about the good old days, or, we all know how much emphasis Prabhupada invested in us in preaching. There was at one time a BBT publication that had a black cover and just letters on the front, something very similar in size to the Brahma Samhita, Sri Brahma Samhita book. Preaching is the essence. This now is a reprint with a different cover, but preaching is the essence, and it's something that all brahmacharis had a copy of, and we read it periodically and tried to live it. Preaching is the essence. And preaching is the essence message, it's found right in the first 2 purposes: to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large, and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. Very high goal. 2 is similar to 1, but it's different. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So preaching is the essence, utility is the principle. Books are the basis, and purity is the force. So the topic I wanted to speak about this evening is purity. What it is, how to attain it, and why it's important, besides it's just one of those 4 pillars. Something that an introspection reflex that I have learned over the years is, if something isn't going well, I ask myself the question, if Prabhupada was present, would things get worse, stay the same, or get better? And if it's not getting better, it's either staying the same or getting worse. And the answer is easy, it would get better. And why? What's the difference? Because purity. Because purity is the force. So if I or any one of us wish to see something that isn't what it could be, should be, and we're making some efforts to make it what it could be, should be, but it's somehow not happening, ask yourself the question, if Prabhupada was in this situation, would it get better, stay the same, or get worse? And if it would get better, why? Because of purity. Because of purity, the mercy of Krishna was flowing. He was empowered, Krishna Shakti, Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because he was receiving Krishna Shakti, he was able to do things that other people weren't able to do. again and again and again and again, and then more in different places and different ways because of purity. So certainly we could say purity is something that we should strive for throughout our life. Wherever we are in our spiritual trajectory, don't become complacent. Continue to strive for purity. It's not like at some point the bell rings and now you're purity. You can relax. That's not quite like that. Continue and continue and continue. Become complacent and you go backwards. Don't go backwards. Don't be complacent. Continue to strive for purity because purity is the force. So what is it? And then how to get it. There's some scripture references that help us understand. One of them is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, texts 8 through 12. Some of you like Bhagavad Gita, and you know what those verses are. At the beginning of chapter 13, there's 6 questions, and the rest of Arjuna asked Krishna. 2 pairs of 3 make 6. Jnanam and Gayam, Purusha and Prakriti. What? Kshetra and Kshetragya. Matter and spirit, matter and spirit, matter and spirit. Pairs of 2. So when it comes to knowledge, that's the answer to what is knowledge, is verses 8 through 12. And in those verses 8 through 12, look at it as many times as you like, and you'll see that each one of them, there's 20 items, each one of them is a quality. Amanitvam adambitvam. Humility and pridelessness is how it starts. And Prabhupada concludes the purport, long purport, that the essence of spiritual life is humility. Without humility, you don't have spiritual life. With humility, you can build a spiritual life. And not just, so then what does humility mean and so forth. In the first paragraph, he describes this one principle printed here is the one that all the others rest upon. Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. Bhaktir, that's avyabhichari, constant and unalloyed. Bhaktir avyabhichari. Unto whom? Unto Krishna, i.e. Cha ananya yogena bhaktir. There's somebody in the room, their name is Ananya Bhakti Dasi. Unalloyed devotional service. And that's where the other qualities are achieved, and without that, they're not achieved. Or there's a shadow of those, but not the full thing, not the real thing, but a shadow of the real thing. So that's the purity. Constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna. Constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna. Avyabhichari is without a break. That's the constant. Avyabhichari, abhicharani, without any break, uninterrupted and unalloyed service. Constant and unalloyed service. So there's a nice definition of what purity is. And there's many others. You may have your favorites. I'm going to get to one that's in 2 slides from now, but Bhaktya Tvananyaya, similar to Avyabhichari Bhakti. It's undivided devotion, chapter 11. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha. Focus, single-minded. Intelligence is one. Intelligence upon Krishna. That's purity. Eka manasa. This is from Kapila Dev's teachings. The title of the chapter is Pure Devotional Service. And he's giving terms, words, and descriptions of pure devotional service, where the mind is in one place. It's very similar to the previous one. The previous one is the intelligence. This one is the mind. And everything, body, mind, words, everything dedicated to the Supreme. Avyabhichari bhakti is a term found in Bhagavad Bhagavatamrita and other places. I came across a phrase while I was visiting in Connecticut from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, verse number 10. You can look it up later if you like. I have become very fond of this verse because it's describing purity. And the phrase is simple. It's from Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas. Bhajaniya Parama Purusha Sukha Matra Svasukatvam. Notice that line is all hyphens, so it's one word. But you can break it down into its parts. Sva means, look at the last line. I'm going to go through the Sanskrit. I like. Sva means one's own. Sukha means happiness. Swasukha. And tvam means having the quality of. So that which has the quality of one's own happiness is Parama Purusha Sukha. Parama Purusha Sukha. The happiness of the Supreme Person is one's own happiness. Matra means always. And bhajaniya is just a nice adjective, the worshipable Parama Purusha's happiness, Parama Purusha Sukha, Matra, always, unceasing, unchanging, unvarying, Matra, Svasukhatvam. That's purity. The way that Prabhupada has used it in that purport is he uses it as a definition. He explains it's a definition of desirelessness. Desirelessness in Buddhism means anesthetizing the soul. But that's artificial because when the anesthesia wears off, the soul has desire. So purity is not the material desirelessness, dial it down and try to shut it off. Desire, make desire zero, become desireless. We're speaking about purity. Purity is not to become desireless in that sense because it's artificial. Why? Because by nature the soul has desire. Why? Because by nature the soul has a loving relationship with Krishna, which is a desire. The Supreme Lord has free will, we have tiny free will, so you can't become desireless. Even if you desire to become desireless, desire is concomitant with the soul. So purity is where the desire, because everyone wants happiness, without exception. Insects. I was watching a couple of ladybugs in the room where I'm staying, looking for happiness. I don't know if they found it, but that's what they're looking for. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, or combination, happiness, happiness. Search for happiness. And real happiness is svasukhatvam. Happiness is Parama Purusha Sukha. without any interruption. Matra. Here's I'm searching to find how bhajaniya is used elsewhere. Worshipable or worthy of acceptance, object of devotion. Bhajaniya, that's an adjective describing Parama Purusha. No, it's generic, but for us it's Krishna. Parama Purusha. That's purity. And suppose you're not there yet. Most of us are not there yet. And we're in different stages of getting there. And you're going to see this slide. This has some significance for me. It's borrowed specifically from Sachinandan Swami's Japa book, where he's expressing and teaching alignment principle. It's alignment exercise. So if you want purity but you're not there yet, or in his case, it's in relation to chanting japa. If you want your japa to be qualitatively improved or better, if you want your purity to be qualitatively improved or better, if you want life to be like that, better, towards the spiritual goal, be clear what the spiritual goal is, and then the alignment of your values, and make choices that align with that value of purity, and then live it. Not just make a choice and then forget it, and then remember, oh, I forgot it. So it's a continuous process of alignment of body, mind, and heart with achieving purity, because purity is the force. If we want to do what Prabhupada, with the legacy that Prabhupada handed us, to do it effectively and gradually in the course of our lives and collectively together, better and better, purity is required. Align your choices and your body and your mind consistently with that objective. In the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been discussing the lives of some pure devotees. And anyone you can take, there are many. We discussed Queen Kunti and her not wanting her mind to budge an inch from anything but Krishna, etc., etc. So her prayers are fantastic. We then spent some time discussing Grandfather Bhishma. And, both of them have absolute humility, although their personalities are very different. And both of them have absolute fixation on the happiness of Krishna. How they conducted their lives was different, for sure. But there was one thing, Krishna's happiness, without going through all of those, because we spent hours and hours discussing. But it's a principle. And you can take any other example. It's easy, take some examples. Bali Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva wasn't there to begin with, but that's where he got. He just, all he wanted was what Vishnu wanted. Etc., etc., etc. Think of the 6 Goswamis or any of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur, etc., etc., etc. Is humility. Amanidvam Adam Vidvam, they have this quality or character of humility and being very focused on the happiness of the personality of Godhead and striving. So I looked up those words. I was very interested in this phrase from the Sandarbhas. Do it again. You'll hear it several times. Bhajaniya, Parama Purusha, Sukha, Matra Swasukhatvam. Bhajaniya, Parama Purusha, Sukha, Matra Svasukatvam, one word. So I took those words and wanted to look them up and see what are the other contexts that you find those words. And one of the contexts I found them, not astonishing, was the kind of singular focus the gopis have. And many of you know, there's this phrase, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. This is a description. It's at the source is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam by Srinath Chakravarti, and in the invocation or introduction to his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, this is where this phrase comes from. The Vrajavadhu Vargena, that's the groups of the gopis, Shishirata Shama Sundara, they have the best upasana. Upasana means worship. According to this commentary, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered that the method Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Va Kalpita. The gopis are the best. There's no better method of worship, upasana, than that was demonstrated by the gopis. The painting that you see on the screen, it's from a scene from Srimad Bhagavatam during one of the seasons when Krishna had rasa dance. It was the autumn season, and he went to Vangsivat and he played his flute. And the gopis were forcefully pulled by the flute of Krishna to come to be with him at Vangsivat. And there at Vangsivat they engaged in rasa dance. And for two reasons, the painting is showing, Krishna disappeared. One was he wanted to be alone with Radha. Another reason said was he detected some pride. Oh, how fortunate we are. Not material pride, but pride that he didn't like. And so he disappeared. Just poof, disappeared. And the gopis went mad, searching for him, and imitated his movements and asked the trees and the creepers and the vines, and have you seen Krishna? Where did he go? And Krishna was watching here in this painting from behind a tree on a full moon night to see what would they do. How much love did they have for him in the mood of separation? So in that section in Chaitanya Charitamrita, these same words are used. Matra, same as in this phrase of Jiva Goswami, Sandarbhas. And also the word is used, tat parya, tat parya. They have their intention is one thing. Same as those other references. This is on the standard of purity. So I'm going to read. This is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describing the purity of the gopis. And you see the verses I'm reading from. The love of the gopis is called the Rudha Bhava. It is pure and spotless. It is not at any time lust. He quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The pure love of the gopis has become celebrated by the name, quote, lust. The dear devotees of the Lord, headed by Sri Uddhava, desire to taste that love. Lust and love have different characteristics, just as iron and gold have different natures. The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, or lust, but the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema, love. The object of lust is only, there's this word matra, only the enjoyment of one's own senses. That's the tatparya, the intention. However, love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful, regardless of the rasa or the position. Coming to that state for any one of us, aside from, what's our siddha deya and all those very elevated things, pure devotion, purity is to come to that stage. Social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive actions, shyness, patience, bodily pleasure, sense gratification, and the path of varnashram dharma, which is difficult to give up. The gopis have forsaken all these, as well as their own relatives, and their punishment and scolding for the sake of serving Lord Krishna. They render loving service to him for the sake of his enjoyment. That's a superlative example of desirelessness that Jiva Goswami describes in his Sandarbhas. That is called firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It is spotlessly pure, like a clean cloth that has no stain. Therefore, lust and love are quite different. Lust is like dense darkness, but love is like the bright light. Thus, there is not the slightest taint of lust in the gopis' love. Their relationship with Krishna is only, again the word matra, for the sake of his enjoyment. Swasukhatvam. Their happiness is his happiness. Now, the platform of pure devotion is equal. We came across this in our discussion about Kunti and Bhishma Dev. In the parting words, just before Bhishma left, Makara Sankranti had come, the sun was moving into the northerly direction. He prayed to the gopis that they bless him, that he would attain Krishna in this form of driving Arjuna's chariot. I mean, that was his heart's dedication. He didn't hanker, let me become a gopi or something like that. He was very happy in his relationship with Krishna. And that's a sign also of Swasukhatvam. It's Krishna's happiness. His happiness was Krishna's happiness. I'm making this emphasis because there's sometimes misunderstanding. So it's not good to have misunderstanding. It's good to have right understanding. The standard of pure devotion isn't what your rasa with Krishna is. Your standard of pure devotion is Krishna's happiness. We'll step back. Within Krishna is everything. Say it negatively. There isn't something that exists that's outside of Krishna. Or the way Prabhupada said it, very simple. There's Krishna, and there's Krishnas, and there's not a third thing in the whole creation of God. There's Krishna, and there's Krishnas. So the varieties of happiness that Krishna has, is there a limit? There's no limit. And so the varieties of love of his loving devotees is without limit. And the standard of that love in its stage of perfection is purity. The purity is where there's no separate interest. Say it differently, same thing differently. Some of you may have heard what may sound like a harsh statement by Bhaktisiddhanta. There's no love in this world. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I love my children, I love my wife or husband, etc. I love my dog, I love, I love. There's love. There's love. There's love. And his point is, there's no love in this world. Real love is otherworldly, because love in this world, there's always a separate interest. That what's in it for me? Now, what's that happiness where there isn't even a fragrance, a hint, a touch of what's in it for me, like my happiness? What's that? That's purity. One more time. Bhajaniya, Parama Purusha Sukha, Matra Swasukhatvam. Matra, only the happiness of Parama Purusha. Only. Always. In all circumstances. That's very elevated. And we have been given, at least, the opportunity to know what it is. Back to the question that I asked earlier in this, what is it and how to get there? We have to know what it is in order to get there. It's really simple. You have a GPS. Turn your GPS on and start driving. Don't tell your GPS what your destination is. The GPS is going to tell you where you are on the road, but it's not going to tell you how to get to your destination, because you didn't put in the destination. But if you know the destination, you have a good GPS, and then the satellite is still working. It'll tell you where to turn left, where to turn right. Sometimes we go to Gita Nagari and they're doing some bridge construction. And it tells you, bridge out, you got to go that way. There's signs in the road that say detour, but your GPS will tell you too. Because you know the destination. So where are you? It's wherever you are, that's where you are. And the destination is where you want to go. So this evening's discussion is purity is where we want to go. So what is it? Why do we want to go there? Once upon a time, I was a little kid. And it's a true story. I was a little kid. And I was born in a Christian family, and we heard about heaven. So I asked Mom and Dad, what's it like there? Instead of saying, I don't know, I just got a pat on the head. Oh, isn't that cute? Guests would come to the home. They'd have me stand up and say it. Go ahead, say it. It was embarrassing. I ran out of the room. Instead of saying they don't know. So I went to the priest. The priest didn't know either. And what's the travel advertisement? Why should I want to go there? What's it like? So they don't know. I mean, at least those people I asked didn't know. So what's spiritual life anyways? What's it like there? The Bhagavatam gives us, and our acharyas expand further and further, like purity. What is it? I'll say it again. People do things because we want happiness. Generally speaking, the idea of happiness is senses meet sense objects, there's a buzz, and that's called happiness. I want happiness. And then there's different fill in the blank of happiness for me is, so I pursue happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Here we are, America. You know, all men are created equal, and they're endowed with their Creator, with certain inalienable rights. Pursuit of happiness. It's not, pursuit of happiness isn't something bad. It's something that's of the soul. But what is it? And how to get there. So the definition of happiness, or the definition of purity, is where one's happiness, one more time, bhajaniya, parama purusha sukha, matra svasukhatvam. That's purity. Put that in your GPS and live your life. And make decisions in alignment with that, in case you're not paying attention to your GPS. Super Soul will tell you, and Scripture will tell you, and Guru Sadhu Shastra will tell you. But supposing your receiver is off, then you're going to make decisions that are goofy or in alignment with something other than purity. And then you're going to have some problems. We were discussing material life is a continuation of problem solving. Here comes one, here comes 10. You completely forget the goal of life, or what purity is, or what Krishna's happiness is, and you're engaged in problem solving. And you work through the problem, and then you have more problems. And it keeps going on and on and on and on and on without any solution to the problems. What's the solution? Purity is the force. No, pleasing Krishna. To the degree that one's own happiness is a non-issue. Exactly as it was described about the gopis. But we also heard this exactly the same thing with Kunti and Bhishma. And take any other pure devotee. There's only one thing. Let's say Prahlad. When Nrsingadev asked him, take something, what did he say? He said, there's nothing between us. I'm not a merchant, vanik. I don't do something to get something. So please don't ask me to take something. Because between us, there's only one thing. You're the master, and I'm the servant. And there's nothing else. Now that's purity. And we're not there yet, which is quite okay. It's important to know what it is and to want to get there, and then to strive to get there by the methods that Srimad Bhagavatam is giving, or Guru Sadhu Shastra have given us. Know what it is and keep striving in that direction. So that's this evening's topic. Purity is the force. To spread Krishna consciousness, to be Krishna conscious, to have a family, to have a community, to have even one relationship that's transcendental, where there isn't any consideration of what's in it for me or how do I feel about things today. That's very pure. That's very pure. Purity is the force. So let's see if there's some discussion. Well, that was quick. Now, I purposely
on what our intention is. Our is measured by what we please Krishna, is righteousness, or is our happiness measured by what. So Maharaj's lecture to us today. The other point that's really important is that purity is the force, but having a goal in mind. This goal of pleasing Krishna, Maharaj referenced the gopis. And he gave so many examples of purity is the force. That goal is going to be very important because, as Maharaj said here, your goal, the goal you set, becomes the destination you arrive at. The goal you set is the destination you arrive at. Therefore, even if you have all the directions available for you like a GPS system, the directions are useless in that sense if the goal is not clear, if the goal is not clear. That's why Maharaj quoted Kunti Mata and Bhishma Dev. Because if you study Kunti Mata's prayers, Bhishma Dev's prayers carefully, you'll find at all points of all the verses that they chant, their goal and destination is very clear. It is the happiness of Krishna. It is the will of Krishna. That is paramount to them. Not what they want, not what they think is important to them, but what they accept as Krishna's will. So Krishna's will, the more we accept Krishna's will, the more pure we become now. The more we have problems with Krishna's will, then the more difficult our purity will actually take. So it's a really wonderful lecture. And I want to thank the disciples of Maharaj for giving us this opportunity to hear Maharaj today, just a day after his Vyasa Puja. Thank you very much. Now we come to a very important part of Vyasa Puja. Sundar Govindu, would you like to come forward and perhaps, or once you're here, would you like to take over now and you can direct us to who the devotees will be making the offerings. So we will hear some very nice offerings from disciples and other devotees who are here today and who are also on Zoom. Please, glorification of the Lord is a very important tradition. Glorification of the Vaishnava is an even more important tradition. So I leave it to you now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We will start. Whatever that's easier to do. Actually, then you can face Maharaj.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय श्रीमते रोमपाद स्वामी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती वेद विशेष मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं The Supreme Personality of Godhead has the form of Satchidananda Vigraha, transcendental bliss, knowledge, and eternity. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Him who turns the tongue into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Such is the mercy of the Lord. Samsara Lava Nadavinda Loka, Pranaya Karunyam, Nanakanasam, Praptasya Kalyana Guna Namasya, Vande Guru Shri Charanarayana. The spiritual master is receiving the benediction from the ocean of mercy. Just as cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is an ocean of auspicious quality. The spiritual master is compared to a rain cloud that brings water from the ocean to extinguish the forest fire of material existence. A person caught in a forest fire cannot take help from the ocean, even if it is nearby. Similarly, the conditioned soul caught in material entanglement is unable to take help of Krishna, even though he is present everywhere, and his instructions are there in Bhagavad Gita for everyone to read. The spiritual master, like the rain cloud, carries the mercy of Krishna and brings it into the life of the disciple in a manner that is most easy to perceive and understand. In today's discourse, we heard about the pure devotional service of the Lord and Guru Maharaj. You are a pure devotee, and you have no other plans than those for the Lord's service. That is why, in this age also, you work tirelessly to please Krishna. You never waste a single minute. So, by following your directions and instructions, we can be assured that we are doing favorable service to the Lord. Although in the year 2023, due to unforeseen circumstances, we couldn't get the opportunity to attend the Udupi Yatra on all the days. Somehow, by Krishna's mercy, we could attend 2 days, and the 2 days were filled with bliss. You explain the history of Udupi and life of Madhvacharya in a great detail. Out of compassion, you give discourses 2 times a day, every day, and give enough room for discussion, where you eloquently reply to all queries by the devotees, always guiding them to progress in the spiritual life. Your discourses are accompanied with a wonderful presentation and eye-catching pictures and paintings, which makes the subject very easy to understand. I feel grateful that despite your busy schedule, you always respond to my emails within a short span of time. Your main instructions are to chant attentively, hearing each and every word. You encourage to develop gratitude towards the Lord and towards the devotees of the Lord. Similarly, you express the deep gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and encourage us to read his book, which he has so painstakingly translated and published. You encourage us to take up the systematic study of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. When I asked you a question about how we can control ourselves in a provoking situation, your answer was that we should try to develop the mood of goodness and feel the shelter of Krishna, which has helped me a lot. Lastly, I would like to pray the willow prayer at your lotus feet. Amsho bhagavatosmyaham sada dasosri sarvata tat kripavakshako nityam tat kreshta sat karomya swam. I am a shining part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and I am always and in every way his eternal servant. As I am always hoping for his mercy and kindness, I offer myself to his most dear servitor, my spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते श्री रोमपाद स्वामिने नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने ज्ञानस्य ज्ञानाय कृष्णगुरुदेव श्री गुरुदेव नमः. Please accept our offering for the simple follow the very happy birthday to us. I bless you with Lord.
a heartfelt gratitude for giving us your shelter and guiding us constantly in our spiritual journey. We really relish each and every moment from our UDP Yatra. Every lecture of yours had an impact on us. You've been so kind and patient and anxious in teaching to us. You reminded us so much of our school days where teachers were concerned with not only for finishing the syllabus but at the same time ensuring the students are given required wisdom. We could see your compassion towards foreign connection schools like us, explaining the details so beautifully. And we were really so motivated when you were so enthusiastic climbing the Mekota, the Narasimha Hill with so much enthusiasm at this age. It was really inspiring to us. During Ramayana class that you gave us for the Chinese devotees while in Singapore, it went for 2 hours and you were patiently answering the questions by the disciples. So we know most of the stories from Ramayana and Sundarakanda, etc. We read them as stories and not recognizing many important morals and principles. Example, we have learned many critical points, how to be submissive to Guru and senior devotees, like and from Sugriva not respecting Lakshmana, and Hanuman's determination while meeting Lanka, 50 obstacles extra from Sundarakanda. To emphasize critical moral values like that every devotee should observe these things if we need to be more sincere about our progress. We belong to Sri Vaishnava family, but we never knew the importance of Padika Sahasranama from Sri Vedanta Deshikan. Your lectures from Meghalaya helped us to understand the importance, and we were fortunate to attend those Padika Sahasranama lectures and by H.E. by his grace Nityananda Prabhu, and we also have joined the Ramayana lectures now, which are very helpful in our spiritual life. We will always be grateful and thankful for your unconditional mercy bestowed upon us, without which we will never be able to achieve anything in our spiritual or material life. Kindly continue to bless us, give us strength and wisdom to spend most of our time listening to your lectures, which will help us in cleansing the dirt accumulated in our mind and hearts, so that we will be able to serve and spread Srila Prabhupada's principles to others in our life. Without your grace and encouragement, we are nothing in this world, Maya. Please be with us and guide us. With sincere gratitude and Anantapoti Pranam Devotees.
So, Maharaj. Yes,
His Holiness Prabhupada Sri Maharaj ki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Vishnu Shrimati Rupad Maharaj Swami Name Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaur Vani Pratari Nir Vishesh. Respected Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your holy feet. This occasion of celebrating your divine appearance day, Vyasa Puja, is very special that it awards the opportunity to glorify you and to get absorbed in the teaching that you have provided. On this Vyasa Puja, I would like to inform you that I am working on your special instruction that is try to chant the holy name every day with attention and absorption. I wouldn't have realized the deeper meaning of chanting with absorption without you, Guru Maharaj. I would like to take the opportunity to mention about the way you go in depth for each topics and take so much effort so that also like me can get the essence of these topics. You conduct classes daily at least once and mostly twice. Will will like to glorify some of the topics like six favorable and unfavorable devotional habits, from nectar of instruction, passing away from Vishnudev, prayers of Kunti, light of Bhagavata, sacred sound, and many more. It's because of your mercy we were able to visit the Udupi Dham Yatra this year and able to get beautiful darshan of Sri Sri Balakrishna, Balaram, and Janardana after hearing the pastimes and glorification from you in the Holy Dham. This year was blessed to get your personal association in multiple locations in Gita Nagari, Singapore Dham, and Udupi Yatra. And I truly desire to have more associations so that I can serve you in more ways and purify myself. Thanks for guiding, praying, and providing us the strength during the hard time when I lost my father-in-law. You are constantly engaged in various service for expanding the mission of Srila Prabhupada and never spend any moment otherwise. You have taught by your example to never waste time and always serve Krishna at each and every moment. We'll try harder to build the pot with big stones first and then the smaller one in my day-to-day life as per your instruction. I pray for your continuous shelter and to be my GPS forever to direct me towards purity. Dear menial servants, Sundar Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Romapada Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Romapada Swami Nityanamine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravan Puchanamiti Vishishna Pastor. Hare Krishna Dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance at your lotus feet. Firstly, wish you a very happy celebrate Krishna conscious birthday, Maharaj. I'm very happy and inspired to celebrate and take part in your Vyasa Puja celebration. Though I'm not qualified to speak about your glories at all, but I will make a sincere effort to share my experience. And please forgive me if I make any mistakes in doing so. Maharaj, me and my wife were very blessed to receive shelter from you last year. Though we had so many doubts and concerns, you are very kind and bestow your mercy upon us. Though we don't get much of your popular association, we feel so protected and sheltered and inspired through your body. You continuously give classes day in and day out and leave no opportunity at all to spread Krishna consciousness, which shows your commitment to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. Your dedication in preaching to Chinese devotees is simply amazing and inspiring. Maharaj, when I hear about Vyasa Puja or unalloyed devotional service, I always wonder how this is really possible. But you are really an eternal example for it. I can personally see and experience it during your Singapore visit and all your yatras. You give no time for personal comfort at all and plan so meticulously so that you don't waste time on mundane activities. We eagerly wait every year for your visits to Singapore so that we can serve you and get your association. Please continue to bless us not to fall so that we put our conscious effort to accept your mercy and blessing and please you. I sincerely pray to Krishna that he always keep you happy so that you can help more and more souls to get the mercy of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Your faithful servant, Maharaj. Now we continue devotees guiding from you.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. My dear and most respected Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances in the dust of your most merciful lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam shanabangura tatrapi durlabham manye vaikunta priya darshanam. For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who achieve human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Without any exaggeration, it is factual to say that it is the greatest gift of our lives to receive your shelter and guidance, Guru Maharaj. As the Srimad Bhagavatam verse above 11 to 29 propounds, the personal association and instructions of a pure devotee are extremely rare and hence should be treasured as one's life and soul. Despite having unlimited anarthas in our heart, my wife and I strive to cherish that association which we received from you. Thank you for taking us under your shelter. May we be eternally grateful to you. While the COVID pandemic and the associated suffering might have mostly passed, the pandemic of the heart and the mind rages on in this world. Although very incapable, my wife and I reflect as your servants on how we should align as much as possible with your mission of spreading Krishna consciousness to as many persons as possible in this horrible Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam world. Mukam karoti vachulam pangum langayate girim yet kripatamaham vande Sri Gurum Deenataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of the fallen souls. His mercy turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Hence, by your mercy, we have been preaching even though we are dumb and lame. By your mercy, this year we conducted body, mind, spirit retreats at Geetanagari, Pennsylvania, and in Singapore for students and young professionals. You were present at each of those, Maharaj, and provided your personal leadership and guidance. With these, we have conducted 11 such retreats, and several persons are seriously taking up Krishna consciousness via your inspiration at these retreats and via our Bhakti Vriksha group previously in Singapore. Yet, there are so many out there whom we have not been able to properly impress upon the seriousness of taking up the path of bhakti. This is all because of the lack of qualification and maturity on my part, Maharaj. I will strive to improve, but it is only possible by your mercy that we will be able to bridge this gap. I sincerely seek your blessings that my wife and I can serve to bring many persons to your lotus feet via this outreach service.
Via your amazing example, you show us the importance of being consistent in our service to Krishna and Guru. For over 5 decades, you have taken so much pain on yourself to serve Srila Prabhupada's instructions. At the age of 75 years, you still travel the world to support individuals like us in our spiritual journey. Without fail, you visit every university program in the USA and Singapore twice every year. For such long period of time, this commitment is truly exceptional. We pray at your lotus feet that we may be able to emulate your commitment to Srila Prabhupada Maharaj. Both my husband and myself feel that our most important service is to our children, to ensure they are loved so that they can have thriving spiritual lives is our goal, and yet we find ourselves as incapable in this service. We appreciate your guidance and direction in this regard, Maharaj. We pray at your lotus feet that Malini and the living entity which will be born with this year take to Srila Prabhupada's instructions like a fish to water, and that we are not impediments to their spiritual lives. Srila Prabhupada writes that the spiritual master is to be respected as good as God. I find myself falling severely short in this regard, Maharaj. I am so fortunate to have personal services unto you, dropping you at the airport, serving you prasadam, arranging the mic stand for you, being the facilitator for your class to students, etc. And in the heat of the moment, sometimes I deal with you like I do with our parents or other family elders. This is not the standard. Please kindly forgive us for all offenses, Gurudev. I pray at your lotus feet that we'll be able to develop the maturity and the mood to respect you as good as God. In conclusion, we offer you this prayer, Maharaj. Hey Guru Jnanada Dina Bandho, Swananda Dhata Karunaika Sindho, Vrindavanasina Hitavatra, Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. Praying to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna that they keep us in your service always, your undeserving servants Paramananda Das and Atita Gamana Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna. I request Anantacharya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatamarandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Shrila Romapada Swaminiti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Dearest and most respectful Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Romapada Swami, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories unto Srila Prabhupada and you. In the radiant tapestry of our lives, you shine as the guiding North Star, illuminating the path to Krishna's divine abode. On this sacred occasion of your 75th Vyasa Puja, I humbly offer my heartfelt homage adorned with fragrant flowers of gratitude. Your life, spanning over 50 years in unwavering service to Srila Prabhupada's mission, exemplifies the very essence of selfless devotion. Your purity of intent mirrors the Lord's words, and your dedication to Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu epitomizes a life of dedicated to universal happiness. Your words echo in me. Gratitude is the seed of love, and my heart overflows with gratitude for the precious gift of Krishna Bhakti you have bestowed upon me. With your blessings, I engage in service at NUS Bhakti Yoga Club, spreading the message of Krishna. In your in-person association, I find shelter with inspiration, and my heart transforms favorably unto Krishna Bhakti. I earnestly pray for your unwavering guidance, Guru Maharaj, as I strive to remain steadfast, enthusiastic, and engage in unmotivated and uninterrupted bhakti unto Krishna forever under your divine guidance. May you continue to inspire countless souls on their journey to Krishna Bhakti. Your position in my heart is invaluable and irreplaceable. Your grace is my eternal refuge, my dearmost Guru Maharaj, forever indebted and devoted servant Ananta Acharya Das.
Hare Krishna. Can I request Riya Mataji to share her offering?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. I would like to start an offering with a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastatvadarshinaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Thank you for guiding me on my spiritual path, letting me approach you, answering all my menial questions, imparting knowledge, showing me the universal truth, Krishna, and most importantly, giving me a chance to serve you. You travel the world preaching the holy name to lost souls from country to country to the most challenging places and people. In your endeavor of picking up fallen souls, we were able to find you and be guided towards the real purpose of life, for which I am eternally grateful to you. I am thankful you allowed me to serve Krishna and have a bigger purpose in life at a fairly young age, helping me personally through all that seemed to me to be very significant obstacles, like college and time management. You were the one who pulled me out of my intensely anxious state of mind when I was picking universities and reminded me of what is actually important to consider while making significant choices. Just as you mentioned in today's class as well, like make choices that lead you to purity, follow the GPS and align your heart, mind, and soul to purity. Amongst all those perplexities, my parents and I were never calm, especially me because I had no idea what was in store for my near future. But when you told us not to worry as much and trust the process, it was almost magical, and all our worries disappeared. And I believe that I am now at a university I'm actually happy at only due to your mercy and the intelligence of choosing that you have bestowed upon me. So many a time, I wonder how people handle themselves and are able to push through life, especially in difficult times, like a day before an exam, without having an ultimate goal like serving Krishna. And I feel so lucky, blissful, and thankful knowing that I am able to serve a purpose more significant than the highs and lows of this material life, because you are persistently supporting me. During the car trips, when I asked you small questions like which aspect of devotional service to take up, how to divide time between chanting books, and even the detail of how to pick which book to read, you answered all my queries with patience and care, despite it being after like long classes and long journeys. They are the answers without which today I would still be procrastinating my devotional service as I did before. I would like to thank you wholeheartedly for this. Lastly, I want to thank you for letting me and my whole generation receive your excellent association and the association of so many other amazing young devotees whom I wouldn't have met if I weren't on your yatras or weren't attending your youth college programs. And this brings us closer to becoming your and Krishna's eternal servitors. I promise to continue my endeavors to serve Krishna and you to the best of my abilities. Hare Krishna, an aspiring servant of your servants, Riya.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So on this very blessed occasion, I want to personally extend my deep gratitude to His Holiness Romapada Maharaj. For most importantly, from my point of view, for taking the trouble to come to Singapore like he did many years ago. This part of the world was not really, at least in Singapore, this was not part of Maharaj's usual circuit and usual lectures. But somehow, by his mercy, many years ago, he floated the idea that he was happy to come to Singapore to give us association. And that was how he started coming here, actually. Romapada Maharaj is so well traveled all over the world, and his contributions to Krishna consciousness in ISKCON is immense. Many of us may not realize that he has been at the forefront of ISKCON leadership as a GBC member for over 20 years. And as a GBC member, he has helped so much to protect Srila Prabhupada's position, Srila Prabhupada's theology, and Srila Prabhupada's stand in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. One of the first times I remember hearing from Maharaj was actually in my home during one of the GBC meetings. And when I started attending these meetings, in one of my conversations with Maharaj, I was very struck by a point that Maharaj brought up, which I think resonates with today's lecture. Maharaj spoke so much about purity of thought. Purity also means loyalty. And loyalty to Srila Prabhupada is so important for us to make advancement in devotion service. While it is stated in Shastra that we should hear sadhus and we should hear Krishna Katha, Romapada Maharaj mentioned to me once when I was speaking to him on many of these topics, that for us who are loyal to Srila Prabhupada, we should be living our lives in such a way that when we hear from sadhu, we should hear from Srila Prabhupada. And those who are following from Srila Prabhupada, we should hear them. Otherwise, what will happen is that we will become very confused. And the mood of devotion that Srila Prabhupada gave us so painstakingly can very easily be lost. And I think that's a very important part of being pure. Purity for us is not only purity in our purpose, but it is also loyalty to Srila Prabhupada's movement. And no one can be more loyal, and no one has established such loyalty to Srila Prabhupada time and again, in all his lectures, in all his endeavors, as Romapada Maharaj had. The other thing about Romapada Maharaj that I find really amazing is something that I was actually looking at when I walked into the center. You realize today that there are garlands everywhere. Do you realize that there's a garland on the clock? Right? There's a garland, there are two garlands on the speakers also. Okay? I congratulate the team who did that. But when I looked at the garland on the clock, I was thinking, why would anyone want to garland the clock? Until I realized Krishna is time. And therefore, whatever that is being used for Krishna is worthy of worship and worthy of respect. The one thing I found about Romapada Maharaj amazingly is that though he has thousands of disciples around the world, takes up thousands of preaching engagements, is so active not just in normal preaching, but college preaching, university preaching, spending time with students, spending time with people who are nowhere near the Krishna consciousness, book distribution, and spending so much time with China and Chinese preaching. Something that Maharaj took up when he was the GBC chairman many years ago and drove it forward, Chinese preaching in China. I think of the fact that because Maharaj is such a pure devotee of the Lord, Krishna at time, Krishna at time has always given Maharaj the capacity, right, to give so much time to his disciples, and even those who are not his disciples. I am not a disciple of Maharaj, but every time I have written to Maharaj requesting for some information, within a day, Maharaj will reply. Maharaj is so kind that very often he sends, if he has a very nice shloka that he likes, he will WhatsApp it, and I get to read it. Sometimes I write to Maharaj, I really like the slides, and in a few minutes or maybe in a day, I get a WhatsApp with a whole deck of his amazing slides. Why would Maharaj want to spend so much time and trouble to do this? He does this because of his innate desire to spread Krishna consciousness. And I think many of his disciples will attest to the fact that when you want to reach out to Maharaj, Maharaj is always there. Am I right? It's true. Maharaj is always there. And not only does he take interest in our spiritual lives, but like a kind father, I have seen him take interest in every aspect and every junction of the devotee's life. When Padyavali Mataji, who's one of his older disciples, right, was not well, Maharaj was very much in touch with Golden Prabhu and family to find out how she was and what her health is like. In all his humility, when I recommended her for initiation, Maharaj told me, actually, she's so advanced and she's so elderly, so I don't feel, that there's a necessity for me to actually initiate her. She's very qualified. And that is the mood, and that's the humility of Maharaj. So on this day, I really want to take the occasion to thank you, Maharaj, and please keep coming to Singapore. Your disciples are here. Even if your disciples are not here at that time, you should still be here because many of us still want to hear you. And Guru Sadhu and Sashtra that you have given to us is such an important part of our devotional service. And I also want to thank the disciples of Maharaj, those who are here and those whom we are really missing, right? Like Paramanand Prabhu and Mataji, Adhika Kamna Mataji, who are now in Abu Dhabi, Ananta Acharya Prabhu, who was also there, right? Madan Mohan Prabhu, Savitri Mataji, who had to leave because they could not continue staying here. They are stalwart devotees. And to Sundar Gaur Prabhu, Sham Gopika Mataji, and to all of you, the disciples of Maharaj who are here and who have taken up so many different services which have really helped the congregation. It is my gratitude to you and my gratitude to Maharaj on behalf of all the devotees. Maharaj, we pray you have many, many, many more years in this world with very good health, and we keep hearing your wonderful lectures, and you keep traveling to see us. And if you cannot travel for some other reason or whatever, that your instructions continue to guide us to be loyal to Srila Prabhupada and His His Holiness Lord Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki, and those. And I also want to say that it is so gratifying to see so many devotees coming to attend Vyasa Puja. I think disciples, right, and correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, whenever disciples of the Guru have Vyasa Puja, they always turn around and see who has come. Am I right? I'm right. Because it matters to us. It matters to us. Because our Guru is so important to us. Seeing all of you here is a measure of your support, your love for us. That's how you feel, and that's how we all feel. So whether you can come for a while, whether you have some engagement, but you make the time to come, whether you stay for the course of it, or whether you're here even for a while, I think disciples really appreciate it. And so thank you very much for coming today. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, what's next? We will have bhajan, Mataji. You're ready for bhajan? Okay. So let's have a few minutes of bhajan as a glorification of Maharaj. We'd like to invite Shama Gopika Mataji. Mataji, you take the harmony? Just here? Yes. Okay. You have the lyrics, Prabhu? The other Vaishnava song. It's not in this one.
Oh, actually, it's there in the KK song. KK song. Hare Krishna. Before starting the bhajan, I would like to read the translation. Oh, brothers, please hear my words with rapt attention. The lotus feet of the Vaishnavas are the most valuable treasure of this world. These Vaishnavas continually take shelter of Lord Krishna and worship him. They never abandon their Lord. They are liberated. They are free from the cycle of birth and death. The water that has washed the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas bestows devotional service in the pure love of God. Nothing else is as effective for attaining this divine love. I place dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas on my head. I wear no other ornament. The purifying power of the water at the various holy places of pilgrimage is described in Purana. Although this is something of deceptive trait. Actually, there is not anything as purifying as the water that has washed the lotus feet of Vaishnava. The water purifies all desire. Moment after moment, my mind finds pleasure in the association of Vaishnava. I always seek out the company of those who are devoted to Lord Krishna. Poor hearted Narottam Das breaks down and cries, how has this fallen condition come upon me? Srila Romapada Maharaj, please. Pura Vaishnava Padra, Vadi Padra, Shubha Sai Kavya Deepa Mahamaya.
So that we can keep to the time of 12 o'clock, we will actually now be preparing for Pushpanjali. So let's, can we get the flowers being given out to the Maharajis and the Prabhus? Prabhus, we all come to this side, and Maharajis, you can go on that side. So maybe we can rise now. Balakrishna Prabhu will lead us in the Pushpanjali for Maharaj. After Pushpanjali, we will all get ready to have some Saradava and Arati for Maharaj. That will be, and then after that, we will all turn and have midday Arati for their lordships. And once the Arati is finished, we are going to have a little but very nice cake cutting ceremony for Maharaj, right? Before we end the program. So please collect your offerings, and I'll hand over. Maybe we have a cloth in front of their lordships, or no, in front of Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. Yes, is Vyasa's son. So then I think we can try to put all the flowers there. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We have the flowers now. We will start the offering now. Please keep the flowers for offering 3 times. We'll start now. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya-manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Vanya Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya
कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवाष्णवीते विदयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर शक्ति श्री गौर करुण शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर साम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भव भूमिस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौमः श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमा प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरीपिषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तनाम स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद्रुन्दारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रतांग सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविंद देवौ निष्ठारविस्य विमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रसरसारम्भी वंशी वटतटस्थितः दर्शन वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृष्णभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपाद स्वामिन् इति नामिने देश पुष्पांजलि। नमो विष्णुपादाय विष्णुपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपाद स्वामी इति नामिने देशपुष्पाञ्जलि.
Give space to conduct the Koti Prabhu.
नमो विष्णुपादाय विष्णुपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपाद स्वामी इति नामिने देशपुष्पाञ्जलि.
Once we have offered the flowers at the lotus feet of Maharaj, we can all move back a bit. Do we have the arati set ready? Ready? We will do some Saradava to Maharaj first. And then after that, we will proceed. Jai Sri Romapada Maharaj ki Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru. Okay. Jaya Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Divine grace, His divine grace, Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki. ISKCON founder, BBD founder, BI founder, Bhakti Kamachita founder, His divine grace, AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki. Shri Shri Sat Goswami Prabhu's ki. Ananta Kodi Vaishnavanda ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा की श्री वृंदावन भूमि धाम की श्री मथुरा धाम की श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की नीलाचल पुरुषोत्तम चेत जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की चक्र तीर्थ वाम चेत द्वारकापुरी धाम की गंगामय की यमुनामय की श्रीमती तुलसी वृंदाई देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र धर्म की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga all glories to His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Maho Maho Sattva ki. Thank you very much, Prabhu's Mataji's, for joining us today for this most We now invite all devotees. We now invite all devotees for the feast. We invite all devotees for the feast. But before we go, can we have a quick word of peace from those Sundar Gopal? Can I have the mic? Can I have the mic?
We are here to honor His Holiness Prabhupada Maharaj to hear from him and to appreciate how he has impacted our life. On behalf of all the disciples of Guru Maharaj, we would like to thank all of you to come down and make this event more vibrant. Thanks, Dekan Prabhu, who is always there for us and guiding us for this Vyasa Puja. Thanks to all the devotees who has helped Shama Gupika to come and for this decoration. And actually, special thanks to the Bengali devotees. Okay, so in fact, I wanted to write something, but I was not having words for them to write. Right? So maybe I have to take some words from my Siksha Guru. So really, right? So they have been with us for the whole for the whole movement, right? So without them, all this services would not have been possible. They came up, they have helped us for even cooking service, for decoration, for everything, right? So it's like they have been sent by Guru Maharaj, they have been sent by Prabhupada, they have been sent by Krishna for us to fill up all the gaps that we have in our seva. So they have been filling up all the gaps. So thank you so much, all the Bengali devotees. This would not have been possible. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we thank all devotees. Please have a feast, Ekadashi, and Krishna willing, see you next week for many, many more programs. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
You can give this photo. Photo after this. Yes. No, you take it. Not my phone. I will take it. I'll pass it. Yeah, India program jane na. Daran, bol.